Jim LeClaire, 169 Searsport Avenue. My counselor, I guess, is Counselor Aronson, who I just got to meet via email this week, so nice to see face to face. My wife Patty runs Robinson S. Consignment over at 169, and I run Smart DataMap Services, which is we pinpoint business location and information on the internet for GPS maps. So we're in the process of doing a data mapping project for the Belfast Chamber of Commerce, and noticed some of the businesses down there, including the chamber, weren't in the right location, so we're fixing those type of things. And the other thing we noticed was that Main Street itself is kind of mislabeled on the various different maps between Google and Bing and Nokia and all those type of things. So I contacted my counselor after talking to Joe, and then Council Aronson referred me to planning first, and then to the way it works in this town is there's a addressing officer who's the assessor, Brent. So there's kind of an interesting mix of who decides what a street is named and where it is actually located, which then gets passed to E911 and then eventually out to these different individual maps. So we're working with Wayne to determine what the best routing is for the section of Main Street, that if we look at the maps that are distributed out across the internet now, including this one is Maine State Department of Agriculture, shows where all the boat launches are. And Google has some kind of interesting routing. So what we're doing is we're working with, there's a company called Here Maps, which was, used to be Nokia, and they were recently purchased by a group in Germany for $2 billion, and come to find out they have an office in Biddeford. So working with them to, once we get the information from Wayne about how the routing should be, is actually correcting that section so that it'll reflect properly on the GPS maps. So I just wanted to express my, I talked with my counselor, what was it, actually we emailed Sunday?
Over the weekend, yeah, I think it was over the weekend.
And then we've got I'm waiting for Wayne's final decision about where the routing should be. So here it is a couple of days later, so I've been kind of impressed by the information flow through the city. So I just wanted to express that. Yes.
Do you have a card with you, number one? Number two, or just let me get your phone number because I will catch up with you on something. Are you on here?
Yep.
Okay, that's great.
Yep. Company Smart DataMap Services, smartdatamap.com.
I'll talk to you about it, though. But, you know, I just got an email from somebody asking me they could not find on Google Maps the Harbor Masters. They were looking for the Harbor Masters office, and they couldn't find it on the map. They were looking for the Belfast Breakwater. They couldn't, so somebody told them, meet me at, and they put it in and it wasn't on there. And it was like, you know, they go, well, why isn't it on the map? I don't know.
Well,
and they were looking also for the rail trail.
Yeah.
And they couldn't find it.
It's an interesting process because the way we like to do it is we like to go to some authority, so when we map something, we don't have to go back and fix it afterwards. And so we've been working with J. Black Printing, and they're on Black's Landing. And so I talked with Brent about how that should be properly described, and he explained how the state and the legal entities are doing away with apostrophes and punctuation and changing landing to whatever its appropriate abbreviation is. And so I transmitted that to Google, and they told me that they map by their own rules. They don't really care about the city, so I kind of like, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to deal with that one yet. But a lot of these things that show up on the maps are submitted by someone that might be in trying to do a good gesture, but then they're approved by someone that could be out of Maine, certainly, and out of country very, very often. So many times we find that the street names in Maine are just terrible from Google's perspective. So as we're working with the chamber, so that when they put in business listings, they typically put in an address, and that address doesn't necessarily coincide with the physical location of the business. So a lot of times we run into situations like that. And in my spare time, in the past, I've done things like we put the footbridge, although it's not the footbridge, right, Wayne? It's Armistice Bridge on Google Maps, and then the boathouse, because when we were working with some of the local civic communities, like Arts in the Park, they also use things like Heritage Park, the boathouse, as physical locators, like Mike, you were saying. So we've added some of those onto the Google Maps. I just recently put on the Harbor Walk, because it's true, a lot of people, when they come to this area, they're looking at their phone or GPS device to determine where they're going to go. So when we were in the chamber office and showing Karen how different businesses were mislocated, we saw this long extension of Main Street heading down towards the pier, and on some maps just ending, on other maps heading off to the right, so obviously a point of confusion. So while we were doing that, we figured we'd take care of that as well. So Wayne and a lot of the staff here in the city have been real helpful.
Actually, there's a guy riding around today doing the GPS stuff, locating different addresses.
Yeah, well,
He had a vehicle and a thing set up on it.
Was it Bing or?
I don't know who it was. I see him. He was up at.
yeah, Bing has
I saw the
been.
Bing map car in Stockton Springs a week or so ago.
Yeah, Bing has been in the state this summer, and what those cars do is they take physical pictures of the.
Yeah, he had a camera on top and
Yeah.
a little round cylinder that was going 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, but unfortunately, those images don't have any GPS relation to them.
That's just street view or something.
Street views. So we were doing a project up in Eastport they've got a new chamber location at the end of their pier, beautiful location, and Meg, the director, said, why can't we use the street view? I said, well, your street view, they haven't done it for like 4 or 5 years, and the Eastport is in a brand new building that doesn't show up on Street View. A dumpster shows up on Street View, so we decided not to use that particular image. So the process is kind of like, using the best images to represent both physical locations and the actual business locations so they're in the right place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.